All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning. I am Meenakshi Sant and with me is Subhadra Ramachandran. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to share his thoughts in Mann Ki Baat program at 11 a.m. today. Prime Minister to address 125th anniversary celebrations of Prabuddha Bharat this afternoon. BJP to contest upcoming Tamil Nadu Assembly elections in alliance with AIADMK. Rajya Sabha Chairman Venkaiah Naidu calls all-party meeting today for smooth conduct of the House. And countrywide pulse polio drive to begin today. As the nation fights the COVID-19 pandemic, we begin with a message of precaution to stay safe and protected by following these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki doori for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. Now for the news. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will share his thoughts with the people in the country and abroad in the Mann Ki Baat program on All India Radio at 11 a.m. today. It will be the 73rd episode of the monthly radio program. It will be broadcast on the entire network of AIR and Doordarshan and also on AIR News website www.newsonair.com and News on AIR mobile app. It will also be streamed live on the YouTube channels of AIR, DD News, PMO and Information and Broadcasting Ministry. AIR will broadcast the program in regional languages immediately after the Hindi broadcast. The regional language versions will be repeated at 8 in the evening. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will address the 125th anniversary celebrations of Prabuddha Bharat at 3:15 p.m. today. The event is being organized by Advait Ashram, situated at Mayavati, Uttarakhand. Prabuddha Bharat is a monthly journal of the Ramakrishna Order started by Swami Vivekanand in 1896. The journal Prabuddha Bharat has been an important medium for spreading the message of India's ancient spiritual wisdom. Its publication was started from Chennai, where it continued to be published for 2 years, after which it was published from Almora. Later, in April 1899, the place of publication of the journal was shifted to Advait Ashram and it has been continuously published from there since then. Some of the greatest personalities have left their imprint on the pages of Prabuddha Bharat through their writings on Indian culture, spirituality, philosophy, history, psychology, art and other social issues.
BJP will contest the upcoming Tamil Nadu Assembly elections in alliance with AIADMK and other like-minded parties. The announcement was made by BJP National President JP Nadda at a public meeting in Madurai yesterday.
Bharatiya Janata Party has decided that in coming times in the elections, BJP along with All India Anna DMK and along with the like-minded parties will be going for the election.
Earlier, Mr. Nadda visited the Meenakshi temple and offered prayers. BJP President also paid his respects to freedom fighter Devathiru Pasamban Muthuramalinga Devar Ayya. The BJP chief is on a 3-day visit to Tamil Nadu. This is the second time this month that Mr. Nadda visited the state. He had travelled to the Pearl-bound state on 14th January. Tamil Nadu is among the 5 states where assembly elections will be held this year. In West Bengal, 6 leaders, including former cabinet minister and MLAs of the Trinamool Congress, joined BJP in New Delhi last night. They are former minister Rajiv Bandyopadhyay, MLAs Vaishali Dalmia and Prabir Ghoshal, former MLA Parthasarathi Chattopadhyay, former mayor Rathin Chakraborty and actor Rudranil Ghosh. They met the Home Minister Amit Shah at his residence before formally joining the party. Mr. Shah welcomed them in BJP in the presence of senior leaders Kailash Vijay Bargia and Mukul Roy. Meanwhile, Union Minister Smriti Irani will be taking part in the BJP rally at Dhumur Jhola in Howrah today. The rally was earlier scheduled to be addressed by Mr. Shah.
Government has said that more than 37 lakh frontline healthcare workers have received the vaccination under the countrywide COVID-19 vaccination exercise till date. In the last 24 hours, more than 2,06,000 people were inoculated across 5,143 sessions. Rajasthan stands at top position with over 3,26,000 jabs, followed by Karnataka, Madhya Pradesh and Maharashtra. Health Secretary Rajesh Bhushan has reviewed the status of COVID vaccination with states and union territories. During the meeting, he advised states and UTs to improve the percentage of coverage of COVID vaccinated beneficiaries. He said there are many states and UTs that need to improve their performance. Mr. Bhushan pointed out that there is a huge scope for improvement in the number of average vaccinations per session. Elaborating on the global landmarks crossed by India, Mr. Bhushan highlighted that India is the fastest country to reach not only the 1 million target, but also 2 million and 3 million marks in COVID-19 vaccination. Meanwhile, the country's COVID-19 recovery rate reached 96.98%, with a total recovery of more than 14,800 patients within 24 hours. According to the Health Ministry, there are 1,69,824 active cases in the country, which comprises only 1.58% of the total positive cases. The third type of corona vaccine may be soon available in India. Serum Institute of India's CEO Adar Poonawalla said that the company has applied for trials of Covovax, a vaccine of Novavax. In a tweet, he said that Covovax may be launched by June this year in the country. As per the statement shared by Novavax, Covovax has shown an efficacy of 89.3% in its phase 3 clinical trials conducted in the United Kingdom. The study assessed efficacy during a period with high transmission and with a new UK variant strain of the virus emerging and circulating widely.
A total of 183 new confirmed cases of coronavirus infection were reported in Delhi during the last 24 hours, taking the total number of cases to 6,34,956. Delhi government said that 6,22,671 people affected with coronavirus have been cured so far. In the last 24 hours, 290 people recovered and 8 deaths were reported in the city, taking the toll to 10,849. Presently, the total number of active cases in the national capital is 1,436. In Gujarat, the second phase of vaccination against the COVID-19 to cover the frontline corona warriors will begin from today. The frontline workers, including the police, home guards, civil defence, Gram Rakshak Dal, jail staff, revenue and disaster staff will be covered during the second phase. Total 3,30,000 frontline workers will be covered in this second phase. We have more from our Ahmedabad correspondent.
1 lakh persons will be covered under the vaccination on the first day of the second phase today. 33,193 persons were vaccinated yesterday. According to the sources, more than 2,45,000 people have received vaccine in the state till now. According to the State Health Department, not a single case of any side effect reported in the state due to vaccination. Meanwhile, Gujarat has recorded 323 new cases of COVID-19 during the last 24 hours, while 445 patients discharged from the hospitals after recovery. The recovery rate has reached up to 96.99%. Maximum 78 new cases reported from Vadodara, while Ahmedabad recorded 66 new cases. Meanwhile, night curfew imposed in Ahmedabad, Vadodara, Surat and Rajkot has been extended till 15 February. Now it will remain effective from 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. Yogesh Pandya, AIR News, Ahmedabad.
In Bihar, 34,835 health workers were vaccinated for COVID-19 during the past 24 hours. With this, 1,45,239 people have been vaccinated in the state so far. No side effect has been reported from any part of the state. Meanwhile, 2,57,856 patients have so far recovered from the COVID-19 infection in Bihar. The number of active cases of COVID-19 is continuously declining. Currently, 1,247 patients are receiving treatment at various hospitals. In all, 187 patients have recovered in the last 24 hours, while 123 new COVID-19 cases have been reported. COVID-19 recovery rate has improved to 98.95% in Bihar. Over 2 crore 9 lakh corona tests have been conducted in the state so far. Nagaland has reported 2 fresh cases of COVID-19 while 2 patients recovered from the infection. The 2 new cases were detected from Kohima while 2 recovered patients were from Mokokchung. The total confirmed cases in the state stands at 12,090 while 11,806 persons have recovered from the infection. Currently, there are 52 active COVID-19 cases in the state.
You are listening to the morning news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to share his thoughts in Mann Ki Baat program at 11 a.m. today. Prime Minister to address 125th anniversary celebrations at Prabuddha Bharat this afternoon. BJP to contest upcoming Tamil Nadu Assembly elections in alliance with AIADMK. Rajya Sabha Chairman Venkaiah Naidu calls all-party meeting today for smooth conduct of the House. And countrywide pulse polio drive to begin today. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
चलो मिलकर एक शुरुआत करें, चलो एक फैसला आज करें, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे, चलो एक इरादा करते हैं, चलो खुद से वादा करते हैं, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे.
News Services Division of All India Radio will bring you special live day-long programs on the Union Budget 2021-2022.
In-depth analysis of the budget by eminent experts, special budget bulletins, people's reaction on the budget, and exclusive interviews will be the major highlights.
Tune into FM Gold channel 100.1 MHz of All India Radio and other frequencies from 10:20 a.m. to 10 p.m. on Monday, 1st of February.
It will also be available on our website newsonair.com and our YouTube channel News on AIR Official.
In view of budget session of Parliament, Rajya Sabha Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu has called a meeting of leaders of all parties in the upper house today. The meeting will be held to seek the support of the political parties to ensure smooth conduct of business in the Rajya Sabha during the budget session. On Friday, Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla also held a meeting with the leaders of political parties in the Lok Sabha to ensure smooth functioning of the House. Our correspondent reports that the Union Budget 2021-2022 will be presented in Parliament on Monday at 11 a.m.
During the budget session, discussion on motion of thanks on President's address, financial business relating to Union Budget, essential legislative and other business will be taken up. During the session, as many as 38 items including 33 bills and 5 financial items will be taken up. In view of COVID-19 pandemic, the Rajya Sabha will function from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. and Lok Sabha will function from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. The first part of the session will conclude on 15th February, while the second part of the session will begin on 8th of March and conclude on 8th April. With Dipendra Anand Kumar, AIR News, Delhi.
Parliamentary Affairs Minister Prahlad Joshi has said that the budget session of Parliament will take up 38 items during the session. These include 33 bills and 5 financial items. He assured that though the season will mainly be devoted to the financial business relating to Union Budget for 2021-22 and discussion on the motion of thanks on President's address, essential legislative and other business will also be taken up during the session. Mr. Joshi informed that 4 bills replacing ordinances promulgated during the inter-session period are required to be enacted as Acts of Parliament within a period of 6 weeks from the reassembly of Parliament. These are the Commission for Air Quality Management in National Capital Region and Adjoining Areas Bill 2021, the Arbitration and Conciliation Amendment Bill 2021, the National Capital Territory of Delhi Law Special Provisions Second Amendment Bill 2021 and the Jammu and Kashmir Reorganization Amendment Bill 2021. He said that the Union Budget for 2021-22 will be presented in Lok Sabha 11 a.m. tomorrow.
Farmers of Hoshangabad district in Madhya Pradesh have expressed their expectations on the general budget. Farmer Surendra Singh Rajput of Hoshangabad district has said that the money under Kisan Samman Nidhi should be increased in the budget.
हमें उम्मीद है कि किसानों का हितैषी बजट होगा। हमारा देश एक कृषि प्रधान देश है। अभी जैसे मोदी जी ने एक योजना चलाई है किसान सम्मान निधि, वह बहुत अच्छी योजना है, मगर इसमें राशि कुछ बढ़ाई जानी चाहिए।
Another farmer of the district, Brij Mohan, wants to get fair prices for both Rabi and Kharif crops.
मैं ब्रजमोहन चौरे ग्राम देश मोहनी से। सरकार से जो बजट है सर, हमारी फसल का उचित मूल्य मिले और किसानों को परेशानी यही है मंडी में आने से वहाँ 5,000 बिक जाती, कभी वही फसल 3,000 बिक जाती, तो वो उचित मूल्य मिल जाए यही चाहते हैं।
Amit Yadav also gave his opinion on the budget.
मेरा नाम अमित यादव है, ग्राम हसलपुर से। मैं एक किसान हूँ। आम बजट में सबसे पहले तो समर्थन मूल्य का रखना चाहिए, रबी और दोनों फसल, खरीफ की फसल का। दूसरी चीज ये है कि इसमें जो सम्मान निधि है, इसमें थोड़ी राशि बढ़ाना चाहिए सरकार को।
Senior scientist from Mumbai, Sharad Kale, expects higher allocation for healthcare sector as well as for science education.
We need to spend more on to strengthen the public health system. The second aspect I will like to bring to the notice of government is that budgetary provisions are expected for more centers like Homi Bhabha Science Center for Education, supported by TIFR. We need to have more such centers in various regions of our country. This will help in orienting society towards a more rewarding scientific attitude. The budgetary provisions are also needed for agricultural processing innovation and research.
Journalist Anay Joglekar wants stamp duty on buying new houses reduced and additional stops for them.
I expect the finance minister and the government to reduce taxes and duties on buying new properties, offer SOPs or tax credits to encourage young generation to buy new homes instead of renting them, SOPs for industry which has been burdened by high tax rates and interest rates during lockdown, and at the same time the government should consider taxing individuals who are hoarding multiple properties without renting them.
In Bihar, people expect measures in union budget to meet challenges arising out of coronavirus pandemic. Sanjay Kumar, principal SKM College, Nevada, said measures will certainly help as people who have suffered during the pandemic.
कोरोना काल के कारण आम लोगों की आर्थिक स्थिति, खासकर मध्यम वर्ग जो है, इससे काफी प्रभावित हुआ है। टैक्स पर भी मध्यम वर्ग के लोगों को राहत मिलनी चाहिए और पेट्रोल और डीजल के दाम भी प्रतिदिन कुछ न कुछ बढ़ रहे हैं, जिससे आम उपभोक्ता की वस्तुओं की कीमत भी आसमान छूने लगी है। सरकार को इस पर भी विशेष रूप से ध्यान देना चाहिए।
News Services Division of All India Radio will bring you special live day-long programs on the Union Budget 2021-2022. In-depth analysis of the budget by eminent experts, special budget bulletins, people's reaction on the budget and exclusive interviews will be the major highlights. Tune in to FM Gold channel 100.1 MHz of All India Radio and other frequencies from 10:20 AM to 10 PM tomorrow. It will also be available on our website newsonair.com and our YouTube channel News on Air Official. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has assured that the government is approaching the issue of farm laws with an open mind. He said the government's stand is the same as it was on 22nd of January and the proposal given by the Agriculture Minister still stands. The Prime Minister yesterday chaired the all-party meeting on budget session of Parliament. After the conclusion of the meeting, Parliamentary Affairs Minister Prahlad Joshi told reporters about the meeting. The minister informed that the Prime Minister said that the government still stands on its statement given after the 11th round of meeting with the farmers. He said that the Prime Minister said in the meeting that farmers should take a step forward and accept the proposals given by the government. The Prime Minister said the government is open to detailed discussion on issues raised by the leaders in the meeting.
जो डिस्कशन के लिए, नेगोशिएशन के लिए 22nd, 23rd को हमारा एग्रीकल्चरल मिनिस्टर श्री नरेंद्र सिंह तोमर जी ने जो उन्होंने ऑफर किया था, हम डिस्कशन के लिए तैयार है। अगर आप डिस्कशन फर्दर कंटिन्यू चाहते हैं तो मैं एक फोन कॉल पे अवेलेबल हूँ। जो स्टेटमेंट जो उनको कम्युनिकेट किया गया था, दैट स्टिल स्टैंड्स गुड। सरकार बातचीत करने के लिए तैयार है।
The Prime Minister reaffirmed the importance of smooth functioning of Parliament and comprehensive debates on the floor of the House, said Mr. Joshi. He added that the Prime Minister said that due to frequent disruptions, smaller parties suffer as they cannot express themselves adequately. He said it is for the bigger parties to ensure that Parliament functions smoothly.
छोटे पार्टियों को समय कम मिलता है, इसके लिए छोटे पार्टियों को समय ज्यादा मिलना चाहिए, ये डिमांड किया। इसके लिए माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी और सरकार सहमत है, लेकिन आप बड़े पार्टी इंक्लूडिंग बीजेपी, प्रधानमंत्री जी ने शब्द इस्तेमाल किया और सब बड़े पार्टी को ये कहिए आप कृपया डिसरप्शन मत करिए। डिसरप्शन से ज्यादा नुकसान होता है छोटे पार्टियों को।
The government has decided to include 14 new minor forest produce items under the mechanism for marketing of minor forest produce through minimum support price scheme to provide remunerative and fair prices to tribal gatherers of forest produce. Newly included items are tussar cocoon, elephant apple dry, bamboo shoot, malkangani seed and wild dry mushroom among others. The central government had introduced a minimum support price for a selected list of minor produce items through the mechanism for marketing of minor forest produce through minimum support price and development of value chain of MFP scheme in 2011. It aims to provide a social safety net to these underprivileged forest dwellers and to aid in their empowerment. The government has said that about 86,79,000 farmers have been benefited from the ongoing Kharif marketing season procurement operation so far, with MSP value of over 1,12,709 crore rupees. Ministry of Agriculture in a statement said that paddy procurement for Kharif 2021 is continuing smoothly in the various procuring states. So far, over 596.98 lakh metric tons of paddy have been procured. This is an increase of 18.92% against the last year's corresponding purchase of 501.97 lakh metric tons of paddy.
The countrywide Pulse Polio program for 2021 began today. President Ramnath Kovind launched the program on the eve of the Polio National Immunization Day by administering polio drops to children less than 5 years old at Rashtrapati Bhavan yesterday. The day is also popularly known as Polio Ravivar. We have more from our correspondent.
Under the Pulse Polio program, around 17 crore children of less than 5 years of age will be given polio drops as part of the central government's drive to sustain polio-free status of the country. The countrywide drive will be supported by nearly 24 lakh volunteers, 1.5 lakh supervisors and many civil society organizations, World Health Organization, UNICEF and Rotary International. Under the program, healthcare workers will also be visiting as many as 2 crore households to ensure that no child is left without the protection of polio vaccine. Before the start of the Pulse Polio program, India had 60% caseload of polio worldwide, with the last case of polio reported in Howrah on 13th January 2011. The country has now been free of polio for a decade. Anand Kumar, AIR News, Delhi.
Speaking on the launch of the program, Union Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan said, polio-free certification of the entire Southeast Asia region of WHO, including India on the 27th of March 2014, was a huge accomplishment in the history of India and global public health.
भारत ने अपने आखिरी पोलियो के केस को 13 जनवरी 2011 को भारत में देखा, वेस्ट बंगाल के हावड़ा स्थान पर, और आज जब हम जनवरी 30 को आपके नेतृत्व में इस कार्यक्रम का श्री गणेश कर रहे हैं, तो भारत को पूरे 10 साल यानी पूरा एक दशक हो चुका है जब वो पोलियो को समाप्त कर चुका है.
Avian influenza in poultry birds has been confirmed in 10 states. These states are Kerala, Haryana, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Chhattisgarh, Uttarakhand, Gujarat, Uttar Pradesh, Punjab and Jammu and Kashmir. Ministry of Fisheries, Animal Husbandry and Dairy said the disease has also been confirmed in crow, migratory and wild birds in 13 states and union territories. Avian influenza has been confirmed in domestic fowl in Udhampur district of Jammu and Kashmir. Avian influenza has also been confirmed in crow samples in Hamirpur district of Himachal Pradesh, Paschim Champaran district of Bihar, and in samples from peacock in Udhampur, as well as samples of crow in Poonch of Jammu and Kashmir.
Haryana Vidhan Sabha has disqualified Congress MLA from Kalka, Pradeep Chaudhary, following his conviction by a Himachal Pradesh court. Chaudhary was convicted and sentenced to 3-year imprisonment in a case of rioting by a Nalagarh court in Himachal Pradesh. Chaudhary stood disqualified with effect from January 14th, the day he was convicted, along with 14 others. The court also imposed 85,000 rupees fine on each of them. Chaudhary will also continue to be disqualified and barred from contesting elections for a further period of 6 years after his relief.
Nepal has decided to award the contract for construction of 679 megawatt Lower Arun hydropower project to India's Satluj Jal Vidyut Nigam SJVN. This was decided at a meeting of the Investment Board Nepal IBN chaired by Nepal Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli. The project was awarded to the SJVN under the Build, Own, Operate and Transfer BOOT delivery method. Similar to the Arun 3 Hydel project, which will provide 21% free power to Nepal during the concession period, the developer of the Lower Arun Hydel project should also prioritize providing certain percent of power free of cost. The developer will hand over the ownership of the project to the government of Nepal after 20 years of commercial operation. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu will inaugurate Adi Mahotsav, a national tribal festival, tomorrow at Delhi Hat. It will continue till 15th of February. Tribal Affairs Ministry said the Adi Mahotsav, a celebration of the spirit of tribal culture, crafts, cuisine and commerce, is a successful annual initiative that was commenced in 2017. The festival was an attempt to familiarize people with the rich and diverse craft culture of the tribal communities across the country in one place. The festival at Delhi Hat INA will comprise display and sale of tribal art and craft, medicine, cuisine and folk performances. Around 1,000 tribal artisans, artists and chefs from more than 20 states of the country will participate and provide a glimpse of their rich traditional culture. TriFed, as the nodal agency under Ministry of Tribal Affairs, has been working to improve the income and livelihoods of the tribal people while preserving their way of life and traditions.
Now, let us take a look at the weather forecast for today. In Srinagar, there will be partly cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. The temperature will hover between -7 and 3 degrees Celsius. In Jammu, the minimum temperature was around 5 degrees Celsius, while the maximum will be around 20 degrees, with mainly clear sky becoming partly cloudy towards the afternoon or evening. Leh had a minimum temperature of -15 degrees Celsius, while the maximum will be 1 degree. In Gilgit, the temperature will hover between -6 and 12 degrees Celsius. In Muzaffarabad, the temperature will hover between 3 and 17 degrees Celsius. Dehradun will witness a cold wave. Minimum temperature was 4 degrees Celsius, whereas the maximum will be around 21 degrees. Chandigarh will have mainly clear skies. The temperature is likely to hover between 7 and 22 degrees Celsius. National capital Delhi experienced moderate fog. The temperature will hover between 5 and 22 degrees. In Hyderabad, the minimum temperature was around 18 degrees Celsius, while the maximum will be 31 degrees. The city witnessed fog in the morning and partly cloudy sky later. Ahmedabad will have clear skies. The minimum temperature was around 12 degrees Celsius, while the maximum will be around 28 degrees. Patna will have a cold day. The temperature will vary between 6 and 16 degrees Celsius. And in Guwahati, there was fog and mist early in the morning. The minimum temperature was around 14 degrees, while the maximum will be around 27 degrees.
And now an overview of today's newspapers. Most newspapers have highlighted the Prime Minister's offer on farm laws being put on hold as still intact on their front pages today. The Indian Express reports, PM at all-party meet, offer to pause farm laws still on table. Agri Minister just phone call away. The Hindustan Times adds, offer to farmers stands, PM at all-party meeting. The Sunday Pioneer informed NIA NSG probe blast near Israel Embassy. The Indian Express notes in its headline, bomb use military-grade explosive, Israel invoices probing with India. The Sunday Times reports on its front page that a bill to ban private cryptocurrency is likely in Parliament session. The Asian Age informs on its front page, Delhi government relaxes rules for passengers from UK, no institutional quarantine for COVID-negative flyers. And finally, Sunday Times reports that an all-women crew in Ladakh runs LPG plant that Army depends on.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to share his thoughts in Mann Ki Baat program at 11 a.m. today. Prime Minister to address the 125th anniversary celebrations of Prabuddha Bharat this afternoon. BJP to contest upcoming Tamil Nadu Assembly elections in alliance with AIADMK. Rajya Sabha Chairman Venkaiah Naidu holds all-party meeting today for smooth conduct of the House. And countrywide pulse polio drive to begin today. For details of these stories and more, log on to our website www.newsonair.com and News on AIR app. And with that, we end the morning news. Have a nice day.